Have you ever wished you could go back in time? Like, really go back, with all the knowledge you have now? I used to fantasize about it all the time. I'd go back to high school, ace all my exams, invest in some miracle stocks, the usual. I never thought it would actually happen. And I definitely never thought it would happen like this. One minute, I was 38, sitting in a sterile hospital room, holding my mother's frail, cold hand. The beeping of the heart monitor had just flatlined. The last thing she'd whispered to me was, "Don't be like me, my dear. Don't waste your life on a man who doesn't deserve it." Her words were a gut punch, a bitter summary of her entire life, and honestly, a chilling prophecy of my own. My marriage was a mess, my career was stalled, and I was just tired. The grief was so overwhelming, it felt like a physical weight crushing my chest. I closed my eyes, just for a second, wishing the world would just swallow me whole. And then, I heard a crash. Not the quiet, muffled sounds of a hospital, but the sharp, shattering sound of porcelain breaking. My eyes flew open. I wasn't in a hospital. I was standing in my childhood living room. Sunlight was streaming through the windows, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air. The floral wallpaper, the one my mom had picked out and my dad had complained about for years, was bright and unfaded. I looked down at my hands. They were smooth, unlined. No engagement ring, no wedding band. My heart hammered against my ribs. I stumbled towards the hallway mirror, and the face staring back at me was me. But it was the 18-year-old me. Round cheeks, clear skin, and eyes wide with a terror that was all too adult. Another crash came from the kitchen, followed by my mother's voice, choked with a sob I remembered with chilling clarity. "How could you? After all these years, how could you do this to us?" Oh, no. No. Of all the moments to be thrown back into, it was this one. The day my mom found the hotel receipts. The day she discovered my father's affair. The day the first crack appeared in the foundation of our family, a crack that would eventually splinter and shatter everything. In my first life, 18-year-old me had been terrified. I'd hidden in my room, plugging my ears, wishing it would all go away. I'd watch my mother crumble, forgive, and then spend the next 20 years slowly withering in a loveless marriage, all for the sake of the family. Her sacrifice had taught me all the wrong lessons, to endure, to compromise my own happiness, to stay quiet. And I'd followed in her footsteps, straight into my own miserable marriage. But I wasn't that scared 18-year-old anymore. I was a 38-year-old woman who had just watched her mother die of regret. I took a deep breath, the air, tasting of my mom's long discontinued rose-scented air freshener. I walked towards the kitchen, my steps feeling both strange and familiar on the worn linoleum floor. My father was standing there, his face a mask of guilty defiance. My mother was on the floor, surrounded by the pieces of her favorite teapot, tears streaming down her face. In my first life, I had stayed silent. This time, I walked over to my mother, knelt down, and gently took her hand, ignoring the shards of porcelain. Her skin was warm, soft, full of life. I looked up, past her, and met my father's eyes. My voice, when it came out, was steady, devoid of teenage fear. It was the voice of a woman who had seen the end of this story and refused to let it play out the same way. "Mom," I said softly, but loud enough for him to hear. "He's not worth your tears. Let's pick up the pieces and leave. Not just the teapot. All of it." My mother stared at me, her tear-filled eyes wide with shock. My father's jaw dropped. They were looking at their 18-year-old daughter, but they were seeing someone else entirely. And in that moment, I knew. This wasn't just a second chance for me. It was a second chance for her too. And this time, I wasn't going to let her waste it.